Hello, welcome back to Only Pistols. Today we're having a look at a Feinwerkbau model C10. This is a single shot 177 bulk filled CO2 target pistol. Production dates 1988 to 1990. Let's start by looking at the markings on it. On this side you've got Feinwerkbau and the production site at Obendorf. On the top cover you've got the Feinwerkbau logo and Feinwerkbau. And on this side, you've got the low pressure marking, model C10 caliber, the serial number, and made in Germany. Also visible is the windage and elevation markings on the rear sight, and the rear sight is the same that you find on pretty much all of the C series pistols and pistols from around this time. It's a very good unit. It's also adjustable for windage and elevation with these thumb knobs, so no need for tools. And you can also alter the width of the rear sight gap just to help with varying light conditions. It does give a slightly busy look to the back side of the rear sight because you've got this level here, the plate in the middle, so it can pay to just black those before use. And then again at the front you've got a perfectly standard Feinwerkbau foresight element there, so you've got a interchangeable steel blade, and that's held in place by that little screw on the end of the sight block. So you slacken that off and you can change that over. And again, those fit a number of the pistols in this range. Operation, you've got a trigger, obviously, multiple adjustments on it, so you can adjust it for weight, let off, the reach. You can adjust the angle of the trigger shoe and the depth of it, pretty much as you would expect for a modern 10-meter target pistol, adjustable for pretty much everything. Grip is a hardwood two-piece grip. This one, as you can see, has been quite heavily adjusted, and it works for me still, but not my adjustments. This is how it was when I bought it. Adjustable palm shelf, and it's the kind of thing you would expect to find with a pistol of this age. So they've not only adjusted the grip, they've taken off the thumb rest here, but they've also ground away a bit at the back of the pistol as well. Still works. Other bits, you've got a dry fire facility here, so if you cock the pistol you can set the dry fire. So with that lever out, that's in dry fire now, so close the cover and you can use the trigger for dry fire training. Loading it with CO2, bulk filled, you get a range of the whole of the C series range comes with a standard thread for filling for the cylinders. So this is off a later one. So you get Feinwerkbau for the production. Most of theirs come with a production date, so this is November 91. And then other information you get on it is the maximum fill weight, so in this case 53 grams, and the dry weight. So that's the information you get on it. Filling it, you get an adapter that screws on, in my case, to an old CO2 out-of-date fire extinguisher, any source of liquid CO2. And you screw that onto the fire extinguisher, or the CO2 source, screw the cylinder in till it seats, which opens the valve, and then 5-10 seconds will put enough liquid CO2 in there to get you to weight. As you slightly undo it, that hole there will just relieve any pressure, any liquid CO2 that's held in the filler. So when you undo it, then it's fully unpressurized. Otherwise, now you do get an option. You can buy an aftermarket piece like this. So you've got the same adapter thread for the pistol, but what you've then got is just a straight through valve. So you've got a piercer at the bottom, and you just put in a standard 12-gram CO2 capsule, and you just put the cap on. You have to make sure this is on the pistol first before you do it up, because there's no valve there, it is straight through. So once you've pierced that, you get the full 12 grams. But a useful thing for using them if you haven't got a cylinder that works. The other thing about the cylinders, you get the genuine ones, they've got a hole on the end, and that's so you can fit an aftermarket weight. Again, the Feinwerkbau genuine weight. So those literally screw onto the end of the cylinder, so you can adjust the weight. Not a great deal of difference, but they came in a range of weights. So operating it, you've got liquid CO2 in your cylinder. Operating it, as I said, literally lift this lever up here. That cocks the hammer, sets the trigger. It's in dry fire at the moment, so we'll put it into fire, which is literally cock the pistol. It has to be cocked first. That then pushes through. Put a pellet in the loading tray. Close the cover down. And then take up that first stage. And it fires. So again, if you wanted then to just try put it back into dry fire again, cock the pistol and then just push the lever over. You do have to have the thing cocked. So with it back in fire, drop the pellet in, close the lever over. Other things about this, well, the ugly bug look to it. And it is probably one of the ugliest looking pistols I own, actually. But this is form follows function. So prior to this, the previous models had CO2 directly fed into the action. So you get the same as you got with this. You have a hammer that's held back, and the hammer goes forwards, strikes the back of the valve, and releases the CO2 up into the bore. With this, what you've got is a stilling chamber. So the CO2 comes into a stilling chamber, which is here in this part of the action. When the hammer comes forward and open the valve, you're taking already expanded CO2. And the idea behind this is it was to make the CO2 pressure more even, or even more even. While you've got liquid CO2 in the pistol, the gas that's evolved will be pretty much the same. Very, very low difference between it, and no need for a regulator, because while you've got liquid CO2, you have that stable gassing pressure. Velocity wise, you can adjust the velocity. So through this hole in the back here, get it to focus on it. Yeah, there's a screw down in there, and that is what you can use to adjust the weight of the hammer spring. So it gives you an ability to increase or decrease the velocity. These typically doing about 500 feet per second, so quite a reasonable velocity. Accuracy wise, yeah, they're accurate. Three in there and a couple that I've pulled, but they're pretty easy to use. The trigger's really nice. The sights are good. You've got a good sight radius there to help you with the accuracy. So they're precise because you've got that length of sight radius. The weight is a little bit on the front because you've got that CO2 canister out the front by modern standards, and you can't really adjust it. But it's good. The grip, as I said, two-part. It's fixed at this stage, but it fits well. I mean, okay, this one's been quite heavily adjusted, but it's a good grip, and it's a drop wrist grip by this stage, which is what pretty much everyone now uses for target pistol shooting. So there you go. The model C10, a bit of a stepping stone, and at this stage Feinwerkbau were going through their model range quite quickly. Most of these early CO2 pistols were only around for a couple of years of production before they moved on. This one, quite heavily used, as you can see, and that gives a good indication to me. You know, this was used a lot as a target pistol. It got a lot of use, and I'd rather see that than some fully boxed example that's never actually been used. This one's had a life. It's done what it was meant to do. It's been target shooting, and it's a very usable pistol. So if you've liked this, then please like, share, subscribe, tell other people about it, and otherwise I'll see you again soon with another pistol. Thanks very much. Bye.